Hello and welcome. Camino is one of the most recent films where the Camino de Santiago forms the backdrop and context for a transformational story. Camino features Danina Curcic as Regitze and Lars Brygmann as Jan. The film was directed by Brigitte Staemose and was released in Denmark in April 2023. Regitze is in her early 30s and at a loose end in her life. She no longer speaks to her father and her future doesn't look very bright. Then Regitze and her father discover that her mother's dying wish was for them both to reconnect on the Camino de Santiago. After overcoming some reluctance and tension, they set off on a 260-kilometer section of the Camino, ending with a visit to the Cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. Along the way, Jan and Regitze argue, fight and bicker over the most trivial things. But eventually their strained relationship eases and mends as they meet and interact with other pilgrims, the sights, the sounds and the culture of the Camino de Santiago. In one telling scene, Jan and Regitze are at the Cruz de Ferro, the Iron Cross, which is between the towns of Rabanal del Camino and Molina Seca. For many pilgrims on the Camino de Santiago, leaving a stone at the base of the Iron Cross is a way of symbolically laying down one's worries and troubles and of acknowledging the difficulties that may have been faced along the journey. But due to a misunderstanding, Regitze does not have a stone or pebble from Denmark. Instead, she picks up a nearby pebble, kisses it and replaces it alongside the others on the ground. This is the best that she can do under the circumstances. We can understand Regitze's actions as a turning point in her life. It begins with an acknowledgement of her situation and perhaps the realization that healing in life requires forgiving herself and her father and in finding a purpose that suits her skills, passions and desires. In the end, we can see the Camino pointing towards answers and solutions that might not have been the ones that we were looking for at the beginning. But they're the ones that lead us forward if we're brave and courageous enough to take them on board, to embrace change and to welcome new opportunities in our lives. Overall, unlike others, I recommend watching Camino. It's not necessarily a film about the Camino de Santiago, but it's a film where the Camino has a part to play. And I agree with many who believe that the Camino de Santiago is not a destination in itself, but really a means towards some other transformational purpose in our lives. So the journey is a process, it has numerous beginnings and it has multiple outcomes. Now if you've walked the Camino de Santiago, then you'll know exactly what I mean. And if the film Camino motivates and inspires you, then I think it's served a useful purpose. Buen Camino!